In this video, I'm going to talk about an IEP, something that parents with a child who has a disability will become quite familiar with. IEP stands for Individualized Education Plan, and all students who have a disability are required to be on one. It illustrates the goals that schools and parents want for their child. An IEP is the product of a joint effort between many people who care about the child on the IEP. Some examples of members on an IEP team are the parents of the child, the parents of the child with disability, at least one regular classroom teacher, so that would be someone like me if I had your child in my regular classroom, at least one special education teacher in the school, a representative of the local educational agency who is familiar with IEPs and or who's familiar with the child, at least one person who can relate the evaluation results to the goals and the steps of the IEP, and just any other individuals who have knowledge about the child, such as maybe like a counselor who knows a little bit about the child and their disability. And whenever appropriate, the child should also be present at his or her IEP meeting. There are many things an IEP should accomplish to be effective. It should serve as a communication tool and a management tool between parents and the school personnel, and it should also provide an opportunity to resolve any differences or issues between parents and the school personnel regarding the special education the child is receiving. An IEP is a commitment in writing stating what the child needs in order to be successful. An IEP must state how the student's disability affects their schoolwork, and it also requires annual goals or benchmarks that are measurable, meaning that we can easily measure the goals and they are also comparable. So we could look at one goal and then be able to come back to it in a year and say, yes, they made that goal, or no, they did not make that goal, and we need to maybe revise our plan. So overall, the IEP for each child who is on one needs to be as specific as possible, including what the child struggles with, what their goals are, and how they're going to accomplish those goals, and who's going to help them accomplish their goals, and things like that. Also, to keep it updated, like I said, it must be reviewed no less than once a year, and ideally more often than that, just so we are aware of where we're at and our goals. Like I said before, you parents play a huge role in the development of your child's IEP, so just know that your input is very important and that we will always be open to your ideas and your wishes regarding your child's education. If you feel that your child isn't getting enough time in the regular classroom, that is something that you need to speak up and say, I would like my child to be with their peers more often, and we can write that in the IEP. That's something that we would go over and that we would put in writing. And so that's just why it's really important that you're there, and maybe the child would have, if they're old enough, they would have some input, like, I would like to have more individualized lessons if they think that's going to benefit them. So just an IEP needs to be super specific, and it's very individualized, and it helps to keep the student and us knowing where we're going with the student and how we can make them improve, and how we can help them to work with their disability and get over certain humps that they may be challenging because of their disability.